maggots love you, but not as much as I do. Love, your malicious corpse.
For some reason, in the first half of this, well, not half, but I'd say about 15 minutes of it, the audio got messed up where the game is louder than I am. I hadn't set it up correctly, so apologies for that. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded empty. I see you had a bit of a snack. We're gonna say, am I still human? Am I still a human being? Luckily, one does not typically shed their entire humanity in 2 nights. You should be fine. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. We're gonna get inside the car. Okay, lead the way. After you. You take the back seat again. The door is locked. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproof, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming in the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, alright. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry. No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. Wait, you know exactly where you are. The nice-looking 2-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The Art Hole, the avant-garde gallery, used to hold that collection of bagged viscera and body parts by... You can't quite remember the guy's name. He's Brazilian. You think Fabio something or other? Viscera. I don't know why I called it viscera. I'm weird. Viscera. After me, no sudden movements, please. You've never been inside. Not quite your style, but the place has quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. 2 large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed, for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. Your worth. Your worth. Oh, I cannot read. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world and it'd respond by making you feel like garbage. I love this music, by the way, that's going on in the background here. Very spooky. It always took a lot of effort to not lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. Now looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. Oh, the woman. Good evening, waiter. And to you, child. Okay, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Someone corrects me. Wadir? Waiter? I don't... Someone just help me. The noble cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. You didn't like that. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helene Enhard, child of Michaela. I'm so bad with names. Helene, I think that's her name though. Helen. Is it Helen or Helene? I'm gonna call her Helene because I think that sounds hella cool. Helene. Prince Panhard. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. You have kind of a haughty voice. She's somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. Ooh. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Okay. We're gonna remain silent. This shit's freaking me out, but would I would, no, let's say my sire. Wait, my sire? You mean the man I met at the gallery? That's one of the things we're here to ascertain. I don't know why I'm making her sound like that, but that's her voice, alright? You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Waiter, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society? Make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Second, actually. I have a feeling the music might be louder than me, so we're gonna kind of turn it down a little bit. Hopefully that's better. I didn't realize that the music might be louder than me. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older haven of one of the clan of the Rose for the embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for the fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some reservations, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house, we had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair, and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, waiter. I take note of this fledgling's behavior, and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the matter of your sire. The person who brought you where Quater picked you up from last night. Who were they? A beautiful man. He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess. He had an accent I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, bought a piece in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt. Maybe even love? No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Quader, does that sound familiar? I don't know why I picked that voice for her, but I love it. No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. He bought my painting. You can track him. That guy, he bought my painting at the gallery. Didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe you can track him that way? Oh, did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jabs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand just a moment longer, Quader. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Quader what all that talk of traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was just wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. I don't know why, but she's southern. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Quader. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. I'm not gonna keep her southern. I'm so bad at it. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What do you mean? What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault. But if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. You're surprised? This is often how it plays out by design. Radar deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Quaidar will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. What happens if I agree? Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You survive, hopefully. Or not. Depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Quaidar appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Quaidar, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Quaidar takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again.
Loyal, rid of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight, I have made my decision regarding this fledgling.
She briefly addresses you.
I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done.
I'm just doing a stupid southern voice still. It won't go away.
We are keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our every existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this.
She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference.
I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently, Quaidar.
You hear a scraping sound and see the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade, which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance. One that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Ask for mercy. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please.
Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer.
Vader looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice.
Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may.
At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elite suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods.
Well, let's hear it.
Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Quaidar's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction.
My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection?
Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste.
I do expect their full cooperation, of course.
Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hush just behind the fucker, some suppressed exclamations of surprise.
Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley?
I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them if it pleases you. Remain silent. It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again.
I shall grant you what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla. Substantially so.
I'm putting twang in that. I got it. It's hard to get it out once you start trying to do it.
Hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley.
Of course, Prince. Thank you.
Very well.
She turns to you.
What is your name, child?
I'm just saying. Lamar. Lamar, Prince. She nods.
Welcome to the Camarilla, Amar. Now, this evening's proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated. But with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Oh my gosh. Couldn't make it. Quaidar, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties?
My cat scared me, sorry about that. Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And if need be, you will be punished. There, the two of them leave the gallery. Well, Lamar, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges. Is that right? Who have now reappeared in the showroom to fill the guest glasses. The conveniently handsome man approaches with a carafe? I'm so sorry, I'm bad at words. I need to read more. I'm uneducated. Of red liquid. He pours it into 2 tall glasses. It's blood again. That much is clear. You're in 2 minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very Borgias. I'm not gonna be able to say that. Borgias ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies. You must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is, it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a simple sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more sustaining than most anything they serve in a fancy glass. But it can make you more voracious. Voracious. Trying to read cat, you're not helping. As to know how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. But it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is a part of our curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. Okay. About our sire-child relationship, the prince mentioned something about you and me being like sire and child. What does that mean? Prince Panhard spared you on the condition that I take responsibility for you. Normally a sire and child are close. One begets the other after all. Our relationship might not exactly be that of sire and child, but it is treated as such by our laws. That we do not share blood does not matter. You must therefore defer to me in all things. I don't wish to use the right of destruction that the prince granted me, so I will appreciate it if you don't give me a reason to. I promised I'd guide you, and I meant it.
Treat me as your mentor and superior, and I will treat you as my loyal retainer and understudy. With me, you can go far. Without me, you will be lost to the unfeeling night, and we can't have that. Those of us unaccounted for can easily become a danger to the Masquerade. That's the main reason why, with your sire gone, the prince wanted you out of the picture too. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A smile, a similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you she's an artistic soul, too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advise advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe. Allows us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of the 21st century humanity and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. Is your driver a vampire too? So if it's such a secret, then I'm guessing your driver is a vampire too? Oh dear Gregory here? No, not a vamp. Where am I going with this accent? No, not a vampire. Although he is a loyal servant and as such trusted to not spill our secrets left and right, you will realize with time that such help is welcome. Gregory watches over me during the day hours. Sunburns are kind. That's why we take our rest when it rises. It's more akin to being dead than asleep, as I'm sure you've already experienced. But not everything you've heard about vampires is true. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance, garlic, running water. Even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze us. Well, that's just another reason to have somebody like trusty old Gregory making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight.
Do vampires watch each other's backs? You mentioned enemies. I guess that makes it necessary to watch each other's backs? Can you count on other vampires for that? She surprises you by letting out a soft chuckle before answering.
No. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage counting on someone. Support given in exchange for favors. Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity. Solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. When you're in Elysium like we were tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is more complex. Outside of official gatherings, shady deals and quid pro quo mentality reign supreme.
She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. it still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the ones you keep returning to is what your places in this new reality should be. The car stops. You're in the city in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building.
We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings?
My own apartment. Neat. I get my own apartment? That's neat.
Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs.
She leads you through the small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.